We might be live now. Let's see. Setting up webinar. Oh, yeah, there it is. Classic. All right, we are live. Correction, episode 7. And I'm watching the Ethereum chart here, and it just gave a nice little dump. So that's nice. But no worries, because that is the 5-minute chart, and I don't sweat it unless I'm live on high leverage, which I'm not. And all of the good, we are live on YouTube. Confirmed. All right, we are live. There it is. Okay. So good evening, everyone. Just here by myself tonight. Cheese couldn't be with us. He is out of state. So I'm going to hold it down with all you tonight and share a few of my thoughts on where we're headed, why we're here, and share with you a few things that I'll be looking at, sort of some scenarios in the near future. So welcome to the correction, where we are looking to make crypto less cryptic. Here with Bitcoin Bravado. If you haven't already, you can follow me on Twitter at randomtask555. And if you enjoy what you see tonight, please feel free to like the video and subscribe to our channel so you can be kept up to speed on everything that we're doing. We have a disclaimer in here. I might as well just get it out of the way now. It's listed at the bottom, but I'm just going to fire it off in honor of Cheese, who couldn't make it tonight. The information provided by Bitcoin Bravado and accompanying material is for informational purposes only and should not be used as a basis for any investment or other purposes. It should not be considered legal or financial advice. The information is governed by our terms of use. You should consult an attorney or another professional to determine what may be best for your individual needs. We are not registered investment advisor, and we are not recommending that you buy anything. We're simply sharing our thoughts with you along with our plan of attack. And by we, I mean me tonight. All right, get that out of the way. I need to ask somebody how to stop notifications from popping up on my little Chrome feed, because it is so frustrating. Especially when big moves happen in the market and it's like liquidation, liquidation, liquidation. And you're just like, I'm trying to trade here. Leave me alone. So anyways, today I want to share my screen real quick. And with that, I'm going to talk a little bit about my favorite tool. I cannot talk to you about this tool enough. It is literally the best thing since sliced bread. And I want to share with you a little bit of why. Another thing today, oh, excuse me, if I'm not paying attention to you and you're talking in the chat, just hold up, because I am a little bit of a noob here when I'm alone. I'm a lone noob. Let me see. I'm trying to share my screen first. Then, yeah, Chrome tab. Google Chrome. Share. Excellent. All right, good stuff. So hopefully you guys are seeing that. I believe you are. I can even stretch it out. That is just a basic Bitcoin chart. We're going to trick it out with a couple little items. And while we do that, I need to pull up. Oh, okay. Well, it's a little last minute here. We are live. Where can I look at that? Yeah, I'm going to drag that over here. So if you're in the YouTube chat, I'm now aware. And that's good to know. And if you are in the Zoom chat, where are you at? Oh, sign in? No, that's weird. I'm already on, so that's awkward. Cancel. Where would one look at the chat if one was? So confused. All right, well. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's all good. All right, so let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. Okay, so the way I use these fib retracements, and it's never ending how interesting I find this stuff. So look here, you draw from the bottom, and if you use, I'll just point at the screen. If you use this magnet tool here, it'll give you a nice perfect touch with hardly any effort. You drag it up, and you see I've got this highlighted. I'm actually going to show you how to do this tonight. You can just kind of pause on my screen. Might as well just do that now. So you go to your settings on your fib. I usually don't have this on, so I have that off. So here's my layout on the fib. Okay. I learned a lot of this from at CR Investor on Twitter. The concept of the reload zone or RLZ. Great guy. You should follow him. Check him out. Smart guy. But he did not teach me this. I actually kind of added this myself because I noticed that the middle of the fib, the exact difference between 618 and 786, the halfway point of this sort of reload zone, was getting a lot of love, a lot of action. It was a relevant level. So I wanted to have it highlighted. So if you want, you can do this. Then go to template and save as. Okay. That way, every time you go onto your trading view, you can simply fire up that template and you'll have it back. And I love this tool. I basically draw it on every chart. It's the first thing I do when I'm looking at price action. So let's have a look. The idea being that after a move, price tends to want to go back and visit this 618 level or this reload zone. So here's your 618. A lot of times you just see a touch on that and it goes. Other times it comes in and hangs out. And as you can see on the Bitcoin chart on the higher time frame, we actually did get some play off of that 702, that what I call the sweet spot. All right, so in here, rally off the lows, kind of touched off the 618, failed. Now, here's an interesting thing, because these go both ways, right? So I can actually see here, this is probably a short reload right here, where you could short from here and watch. So you draw from top to bottom right here, you drag it down, look at that. So off the first move, so you drag it here, you match the line to this move, this low, so you have your top to your bottom, and that shows you it's going to retrace. How far up is it going to retrace? Maybe do an RLZ, and there it was. So if you were getting a short in here, maybe seeing some signs of divergence on your indicators, maybe some bearish market structure. If we were to zoom in on that, I bet there is some. And that would have been a trade right there. So again, presumably you can be trading off this in this way. I don't do a lot of margin trading, so this wasn't me sitting here saying, "Ooh, what a nice," but look at that. Right into the reload zone, hanging out. Shorts are reloaded, bam, back down. So that's just a little mini within the larger time frame. So let's zoom back out because I want to kind of extend this sort of concept a few times so you really see how powerful it is. It's showing up everywhere, and I keep finding it. It's not just me, but like it's my new favorite thing, right? As of the last 6 months. So yeah, visit the reload zone, and then off we go. Now let's take another. Let's see if we were to go from the bottom of this next sort of low pivot up to here. Is this possibly where we're headed? Right? We're going to go down for a nice little reload. And look, there's a lot of confluence on this level. So this is one that I'll be watching. I don't think we're headed there quickly. If anything, I see us doing sort of one of these, right? Panic. Oh my God, new lows. No, get a reload short and then trickle down. So that, what would that look like over here? Maybe get a nice little down to the 382, right? We could drag a new fib. Maybe just say it does end up down there. Get a nice bounce. All right, everyone's going short right here. They're like, oh my God, we're going so far down. Shake them out, shake them out, shake them out, stop them out. Reload up here. Trickle, trickle, trickle. Then touch the 42. Okay, that's sort of what I will be watching for here. If, of course, just fake out and new highs. I don't know. I don't think so as much. Anyway, so that's sort of how you can just use fibs. Now, am I auto long every time it goes to a reload zone or auto short every time it gets to a short reload zone? No. But within those spaces, you can actually just hunt for market structure within. So like, for example, actually on a lower time frame, we can actually see this. Where is it? Okay. So let's zoom in. We'll get a 4-hour on this most recent Bitcoin action. And here we go. So, right, you get the move down here. You could have been hunting shorts here. And did you get a confirmation of market structure? Not really, right? You came up here. Oh, look at that little double top, but didn't break the neckline. So shorting there was your risk. If you had a risk to new highs, you got stopped out here, that nasty little stop run, something like, what was it, $54 million in liquidations right there. Anyhow, so in this case, the market structure didn't confirm, and you probably wouldn't have wanted to fire a trade there. I typically will wait for sort of an M top to come in and then get excited here. And of course, right when that neckline broke, it kind of nuked, just bing. So now we're looking for some new structure down here. So just another little like live example of sort of the way you could use fibs and some ideas about where I think Bitcoin might be headed based on those fibs. Let's see, do we have any chat going on? We have a participant here. How's it going, Bart? I hope I said your name correctly. Feel free to say hello, although I need to make sure I'm seeing, there it is, chat. All right, I can see in there. So if you have any questions, fire them off. So that is sort of the current ideas I have around Bitcoin as far as where we, how I'll just be looking around, waiting for some of these reload zones to get entered. And if you find some nice market structure inside of them, you may want to fire. Again, I don't really trade margin. So what am I doing right now? I am looking for, looking to minimize that, shrink that, move this up. Okay, so here we are again. Oh, this is my other Bitcoin chart. Some GAN levels to look at. This is actually some really cool stuff. I won't stay too long on here because it gets kind of hectic, as you can see. But I mean, look at this. This was a GAN study drawn off the decline of 2014. Okay, it looks really gross because I'm not zoomed on it. But then you do a puddle study. So you actually flip this upside down, mirror it up here, draw a fan based on that, and it extends those levels into the future. And Bitcoin has actually been playing off of this like puddle study mirror GAN extension for the better part of 2 years now. Whether or not that's coincidence or it's because it's magical GAN stuff, or people just had drawn it and therefore some big money was playing. But look, bounced off this GAN level here, played off it, played off it, played off it. Like, is that so exact that that's coincidence? I don't know. Broke through the GAN, retested it, came down here, played off this level, played off this level, and then we plowed through it. So I'll be watching here. Once we've gained that, in theory, you could think we might get some love there on the way down. So that's another level, also confluent with a 382. So this 382 is a fairly, I want to say, common first stop. So if you have an uptrend in an asset, you may see not a full pullback to the 618, the reload every time. You may just see a little touch on the 382 and then a continuation. I believe you can see those a lot on RVN. And while we're here, see if I can pull up a perfect example of that. I believe we were seeing some of these on this crazy RVN move where it just does a 382 stop on the way up, which we're down here. Yeah, okay. Let's take a look. You're not going to get your 618 on a strong trending asset, but you may get a 382 to enter. And that's the trick, right? Do you enter on the 382? Do you wait for the 618 and you miss it, right? So for example, yeah, right here. So on its first impulse up, you got this perfect 382 check, and then it continued. I remember that just because I remember pointing it out to somebody like, wait for the 382. Because, what do you get, right? You get a lot of guys saying, ooh, RVN's looking good, RVN's looking good, long RVN. And then you get his buddy showing up here going, is it too late to get in? Can I still get in? Should I buy? And so what I would always say in that sense is, hell no, you're not buying on this, but you may wait for a little pullback, draw your fib, get in on the 382. If you're really confident about a rally going up, general rule of thumb, if you got to ask if you're too late for a trade, you probably missed the trade. You have a new trade that might form up here, pullback 382, risk, depends on your risk tolerance and your position size. Then obviously on the next impulse, you would imagine you'd get a slightly stronger pullback because there's just more people willing to sell and get out because they've made so much money. And it goes to the GAN 0.5 level pullback. Did stop a little here, not really. Then keeps going. And let's see, does that work? Look at this nice little M top. Just calling tops. I was calling tops early on RVN, but the market was very bearish back then. So I didn't expect this kind of run, to be honest. I don't know who did, but and here you got your 382 right now, right? So we went up from bottom to top. You're coming back, and it's getting some love on the 382, but this to me looking a little bearish. I'd say after all this, we are due for a pullback into the 618. And on that note, I'd like to point out to you or go over a couple of alt charts that I've been watching. Oh, I'm good, thanks. Came in a bit late. Would like to know what your opinion is regarding BTC. Are you in Tether? Are you in BTC? I got QSP at 509. Okay, so Bjart wants to know a little bit about BTC. Kind of shared my thoughts on there. And oh, he said he was late. Okay, a little late to the show. Let's see if I can help you out, Bjart, since you are 100. Are you 100? 100% of my audience right now? Let's see. Maybe. Oh, I'm on the wrong YouTube screen. Anyways, whatever. Okay, so let's take a look. My thoughts on Bitcoin, short-term bearish. I don't think we'll plow to new lows. I think that would be too easy, too obvious. Typically, once we've seen sort of a distinguished move and then pullback for the next one, I like to move my fib up to here. I mean, there's something to be said about hunting levels here as well. But personally, I like to find like sort of the most recent move, which is arguably right from this pivot low. Yeah, I wouldn't draw it from any of these. You could, in its own little world, yeah, you could draw it from here. Sort of that was the last little low pivot before this move. That's a valid fib as well. And you just got to kind of play with these. You can actually draw multiples on the same one and look for confluence there as well. An RLZ within an RLZ, as they say. So Bjart, what I'm looking for is this level. Oh, nice little pivot over here as well. A little confluence. Bing. So I'd like to see a good reaction here. That would be that strong continuation from the 382. I am not going to be bothered at all if we have to come back here. I think that would still be fairly healthy. I mean, we have to test that level, in my opinion, at some point, because we blasted through this crazy, you know, SR fairly strong level here. So what we're going to blast through? Well, we got to check it. Look at this, right? Typically, when you see a strong stick like this, it gets filled in, right? To me, like it's not a gap, but it's sort of like it's standing on stilts, and typically markets would like to fill that kind of area in. And that's a great segue into my VET chart, because that's actually what I drew on the VET. So VET was breaking out nicely, right from this neckline, right? Blasted through, came down, retested. Oh God, we're gonna get that 382. Love when these examples just show up live. A little bit. Get this magnet off for a sec. Yeah, I mean, look, it broke out, came down. Here's our 382. Yeah, perfect chest on the 382. 382. Bullish market structure forming, breakout, long the retest. Ding, 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 ding. Didn't get very far though. This is not the best example of that, but that's the idea. And it was another 382 on the breakout, so that's cool. All right, so what am I looking at here? Let's go daily. Get a little. Wow, what a dump this week, eh? So VET, I missed this, right? I didn't see, like I saw this kind of happening. I was like, oh, maybe we should long VET, and I didn't actually get in, so whatever. Waiting on it up here thinking, well, I'm not about to long this now. But having, and I talked about this in the Discord a little bit, the idea that Bitcoin was moving towards its major downtrend. So as it moved through that, we would see some blood in alts, or if it got rejected, of course, even more so, we'd see some blood in alts. So I was actually working to kind of skim my bags a bit. And as I skim the bags, you then are trading from a position of strength. You can sort of build up Bitcoin, Tether, whatever you like, and use that to buy the dip, so to speak, or the blood. So it is so important as a trader, if you are trying to trade, to take profits. It's so easy to cut your bags here, isn't it? Right? So tempting. You see this, you're like, ah, feels so good, right? The second you cut it, you're like, oh, now I don't have to worry about that. And then, you know, a week later, you're feeling great, and you look and you're like, oh, wait. And then you look back, you're like, I throw the bottom. So, and that's the psychology of a market. If you don't trade with a plan, you tend to do the thing that will relieve stress or relieve anxiety. And if you don't take your profits, You know, it's kind of like the old sell when you can, not when you have to. Anyways, ramble. Here is the fib that I drew off vet. Okay, see the bottom of the move, take it to the top of the move. I want to get rid of these. So I make sure there's a little double top I was drawing on there before. So I was like, okay, I want in vet. How can I get in? Well, I'm certainly not, you know, chasing tops, chasing rallies. That's not my style. Some people like to buy the stuff that's rallying and just ride that 20% and get right back out. It's cool. Not me. So up here, I'm looking at this thinking, this could easily visit its RLZ. I remember it was, God, we gotta go down 4 hour here. It was flagging here after making sort of a double bottom and a double top. So the question was, where's it going to go? It actually kind of broke out the top. If you had too much coffee that day or you love breakout trades, you might have wanted to be like, wow, it's going long. But I just left it, let it come down, touch that MA here, the 200, bounced off the 13 that I put on, the 13 EMA. So it hugs the price a little tighter. And then chilled along. Anyways, and then dumped in. Now look here. This is the spot like I was just trying to talk about on the Bitcoin chart, right? So you have this stick here. Tends to be sort of thinking of it as like a weak sort of a level holding it up. Not a whole lot of volume traded in here, so usually we'll get filled in. And that was an example of that right here. And I was looking around, right? You look at the charts, everything's filled in. But then you get here, there's like this nice little stilt. And you're thinking, man, that looks weak. You know, market's going to want to fill that in. Let's take a look at our VPVR. Maybe that'll show us that level. Yeah, here it is, right? Blasted right through it. And you might see on some of my charts, I'll do this. Bink. And that can be a nice little way to hunt location for an entry. Just like this is to hunt location, this also, and look at the confluence, right? And then this. So I actually had bids working at the 127 because vet had been moving so strong and because the cap and whatever, it seems low and it's strong product of blah, blah, blah. So I figured I'm not going to miss this by trying to hunt here. It could still come into here and it could consolidate and chill. I'm not all in, right? I might add if it comes down here and does some bullish market structure, lower my average down a couple sats, or I might just chill and forget about it because not forget about it, but not worry about it because look, I mean, if you look at the bigger picture, you've got yourself, get all these lines out here. All right. Oh, and this guy here. I mean, right? And assuming we don't go to new lows, which is one of the scenarios I want to talk about, just being aware that that could happen. I doubt it, but it could. I mean, look at the big picture here, right? Do I want to miss this move that I think might come off, what, 8% down here? Nah. Do I want to cut my bags just because it dropped 8% when I might be looking at 500%, upside? No, I like my RR right where it is. So on the bigger picture, right, you can see this level here confluent with that old resistance. Probably going to get a stop there if we ever do move up there, which I think we will someday. So let's see. I mean, it's a decent little move here, right? It's only 63, 64%. Now keep in mind, this is vet. Vet goes a long way back, right? We're talking about Ven. So vet on Binance is a short bit of history. But if you really go back and look at the Ven chart, it's got quite a bit more upside. So I was wrong in my 500%. I was thinking of like, there's a few charts that you do this and you go up to these kinds of levels, these retraces, and they're like 300, 400, 500. One of them might be right over here. No, not the one. Maybe I'm thinking of Zill, but I put my Zill chart away. Okay, this Discord really needs to stop beeping at me. All right. I have one margin account, one altcoin trade account. I use what I win in margin trading to buy the dips. Interesting strategy. So Bjart is saying he's got his 2 accounts, margin, one altcoin trading, and kind of skims profits from one to buy dips and alts. And that's a strategy. I have a margin account that's like tiny. It's not my jam. And then I have an alt account that is my main thing. And I have some old bags that I don't even account for on here that I'm just kind of sitting and waiting. Certainly didn't hold them through, the later part of 2017 just to sell them in this range. It's sort of a take profit, manufacture a net cost 0 on a bag, and then you can just chill and hold it. Things like Aeon, certainly not selling Aeon before they, reach their potential, whatever that may end up being. Things like that. So let's take a look at some of these dips that I'm buying in all this blood. So here was a box I had on KMD. Again, we had this KMD trade active in our Discord from January 7th right here. And we were buying, holding, holding. It was a great trade. We, take profit, dip, take profit. And I think our last take profit market closed something up here. Probably because that was tickling the short RLZ. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. So you got to see markets just have sometimes predictable ways they move. Human behavior en masse, algo-driven markets. Where do you think they program their algorithms from? I'd be guessing at least a handful are doing it from the fibs. And sure enough, moves down, draw that fib, set your take profits. Now, why didn't we set all our TPs up there? Well, because we're not friggin' wizards. Personally, I like to take profits early and often, and then save a couple little moonies, and then maybe even just have a net zero bag that's like a proper moon bag. There's I think 59% average profit on that trade, so that was great. So we're completely out of KMD right now. But what do you think? What am I doing next? Well, I'm hunting to get back in. A big part of the catalyst for myself and the team setting that up was that they are rolling out a new marketing campaign. And with that new marketing campaign, part of that is a rebrand. And crypto loves their rebrands. Think Nano, think XRB, 2017, 2018. That thing went like 120x. This will not do that, in my humble opinion, but it will get some love, I think. Part of their marketing plan, it's not like they're just slapping a new logo. They're actually putting a whole new commitment into the marketing to sort of help people understand what Komodo is, because it is more of an ecosystem of projects than anything. It's pretty cool. Anyhow, draw that fib. Here was our RLZ. I actually had this trend channel drawn. I can show you how to draw those. They're pretty sweet little tools. So you go over here. You get your parallel channel. Put your magnet on. Then just click bottom range. Next wick. And then stretch it back to the previous pivot high before that low. And that is sometimes a tricky thing to find, right? Sometimes sometimes it's like a weird chop thing over here, and you have to kind of find a few, and then you just I just play with them a bit. Sometimes, this is an obvious one here that is definitely the one. And then you can sort of see how price plays, right? Came up to this midpoint, popped through, got a shooting star, drop down, blah, 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 right? Probably a visit to a reload zone here. Because if that's our theme tonight, let's just keep going with it, right? Yep, sure enough, look at that. So here was your first move. Draw that fib. Where's it going to end up? If you want to get in, you got to set your bids around the 618. And sure enough, ding, 618, ding, 618, and gone. Anyone ever asks you, is it too late to buy? You say, yeah, maybe. I certainly just won't, right? Maybe it's like RVN and it just keeps going. I don't care. I'll miss it. I would rather be patient, set my bids, trade the plan. Stay safe. Long term, compound gains. All right. So here we go. We got the RLZ here, draw it up. And sure enough, we came in. Now look, see, we didn't tap it now. We're dipping in. I'm not panicking yet. I actually have my bid set a little deeper into it. And yeah, look, we might close out the day on the sweet spot here, the 3-day actually. Let's see what the daily says. Okay, yeah. So we're on that day. And we are an hour and a half away from close. A close above this sweet spot would be really nice. Don't you love how it's hugging it? Just beauty. Just music to my ears when stuff like this happens. So we're hugging this here. If we close above, my guess is we'll action up here a little bit. Maybe dip in one more time. And then often I find stop runs when it gets into the box and it's consolidating before it leaves. A lot of times you just see some action just below here. So I don't set my stops here anymore. I used to. A lot of times I would be like, oh, if it leaves the RLZ, I'm going to get, I want out. But what I've noticed in the last year, a lot of my journaling and mistakes and blah, 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 lessons learned in blood are getting stopped on just, and then it goes. And you're like, oh no. So usually I'll hunt over here for a couple of lows of protection. And then obviously with a looser stop, you have to have a smaller position to maintain risk. But works. So that's KMD. Aeon, making me a little bit sad. This trend channel broke down, retested, broken out. So I'd say it's fairly dead. Probably going to get rid of that. Are we still in sort of bullish conditions? Yeah, arguably. I mean, look, we got the rally, dipped right into that reload zone, and now we're chilling. No reason to panic yet. I'd say yellow. I'd be pretty panicked. I mean, not panicked, but like I'd be reconsidering my life choices about going long up here. I'm in long from here as we actually did that live on the air. Yeah, 3 weeks ago. So I don't know if Cheese closed out our paper trade, but it had a good 30% on the account. I'm guessing we didn't close it out because, frankly, I've got bigger plans for Aeon. I was hoping to at least visit an old RLZ. Doesn't look like it's coming in this month, but get a wick up into this consolidation range again. So yeah, to be honest, I was kind of thinking like a 382 stop. Again, this is all exclusive of BTC price action. Given that, I didn't expect we'd get much higher on alts, but yeah, there's that. So, oh my gosh, guys, it's like clockwork. The crypto gods appear to hate when my streams go over 30 minutes. I imagine you can still hear me because usually when I freeze these days, that's what happens. There's a resolution issue in my life. I have 3 different resolutions on my 4 monitors, and something about sharing my screen on the main one, which is 5K res, it's a Mac, blah, blah, blah. Something about that seems to really shit Google Chrome's pants. And almost as if on cue, at the 30-minute mark to 40-minute mark of any live stream, if I'm screen sharing, this happens. So right now, everything I'm looking at is just frozen. My guess is it's frozen on your guys' end soon. Tatankaness, do you think this is the last dip on the market 2019? Personally, if we see new lows, I don't think they will last. I could definitely see like a panicky wick, and then you look back on the weekly a couple months later, and it'll just be like, oh, it wicked down, and then it closed above, and it was the hammer, and that was our final, and then we're off. That's my 2 cents. Is that is like what we will see if we see anything like that. Personally, I don't think we have to visit lows again. FA is a lot different this time around, and that 2014 fractal, it's not written in stone. I am so terribly sorry that I cannot figure out this friggin' resolution issue. Otherwise, I would have continued for a little bonus 10 minutes with y'all. I am looking at a blank set of screens that are like sort of frozen where they were. So I saw that question. I wish you all a beautiful, wonderful evening. I hope you enjoyed sort of the fun with fibs tonight, and you can see why I love them. I mean, it's just so consistent. How often you can catch a nice bid or an ask right in that green level of the RLZ and just be, getting a great entry one way or the other. So have fun with those. If you want to ask more about them, check me out in the Discord, say hello, DM me if you like. But if you ask in the public chat, it's even better because then everyone else gets to learn with us. With that, go Leafs go. Playoffs are on tonight. I'm going to head out, reboot my computer, and then shut down the stream. And, one of these days, I'm going to figure out from Zoom how the heck I can prevent this because it's a little bit absurd. Anyways, guys, have a great night. Signing off. Don't forget to like that video, just out of pity for my crappy little resolution. But no, I'm just kidding. Give it a shout if you do. And if you don't like what I served up tonight, tell me why in the comments. Maybe I can fix something. You never know. Have a great night, everybody. Cheers.